Welcome to Confessions Beyond the Food. I'm your host, Nancy Ridland. Let's dig in and get inspired. Hi, you guys. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. You have no idea how excited I am that you are listening to this. And today is the day. So I'm an insomniac. So this whole week I haven't slept. Thanks a lot, guys. But the reason is because we are coming out with a podcast called Confessions in the Food Industry. My name is Nancy Ridland, and I started W3 Sales about 8 years ago. We started from scratch and built the company up over the years. And it was a really tough journey, but we have exploded, and it's been filled with lots of ups and downs. But a lot of people ask me, like, how are you guys so successful? Like, why is your team so awesome? Like, why? Tell me about this culture. Tell me about your intern program. And you know what? To be honest, I didn't want to tell you. And this is why. So what we do is we are a sales and marketing company, and factories hire and contract our team out to be their brand ambassadors. So what we do is we have a team of salespeople, we have a team of marketing people that go out and market to a specific territory, Texas and Oklahoma. And shout out to Texas and Oklahoma. But so the thing about that is that with what we do is I don't buy anything and I don't sell anything. And so all I have is intellectual property. And for those of you who haven't heard that, it's just everything that's in your head. It's like your relationships, your ideas, your approach. And the thing about it is like our approach is like just so out there, you really can't hide it. The light is definitely shining, but we haven't given a lot of secret to the sauce because that's what we own, and that's what makes W3 special. And I've been confronted by several of my mentors and inside the food industry and outside personal mentors. And they just said, Nancy, you have such a closed fist, you're so protective, you have been gifted, with this team, with this company, by the grace of God. And you need to be, and you got into this because you wanted to inspire other people, and you wanted to bring a different approach to marketing and to sales and marketing. And that's why I got into this. And you need to open your fist a little more and, unclench it and help other people in the industry. So that's kind of what has sparked this podcast. And I'll be really real right now. I'm scared. I'm not sure what this all looks like, but I am really pumped just to open up my brain to invite other people in and to jump into some different topics. So today, we can't do all of that in just like 30 minutes or 20 minutes. I mean, we would be here for hours, and I could totally talk for that long. And if you don't believe me, you can ask any one of my team members on a Zoom call, because I love to talk. So, but I'm not going to do that to you today. So today I'm just going to give you a quick oversight of what this podcast is all about. So, I'm going to tell you about the who, like, who is this podcast for? The what, like what topics we're going to cover, just a little sneak peek, and also get into how this is going to work. So, who this is for. Okay, obviously, if you're in the food industry, you're in the right place. But if you're not, that's okay, because I think there's a lot of things that you can glean if you're outside of this industry. If you're an entrepreneur, or you are running a sales organization, or you're looking for inspiration for marketing and all those things, like, this podcast is definitely for you. This is also for if you're running, your own you're running a business. Maybe you don't own a business, but you are responsible for the business. And this also pertains to you as well. This pertains to marketing teams. We have a really great marketing team, and they have lots of good things to share with you. And then we have people outside of our team that can give you some really good nuggets. And then if you're a sales manager, this is an awesome place. We love to train. I love to train. That's kind of my personal passion. And so we want to help give you some tools and resources to help train your sales team. And also, if you're a sales rep, like whether you have been in the industry for quite a long time or been in sales for quite a long time. Maybe you're just moving into the role of sales rep from a different department, or maybe you're brand new. This is a great podcast to listen to because we are going to cover all of it. Whether you're new or whether you have paved the way for all of us, we are going to cover that gamut. And I think you'll have something from each podcast. Also, I think this podcast is going to be really great for people who are responsible for hiring and training new people outside the industry. One thing that W3 has done is we have hired every single person except for one outside the industry. Like nobody came in because we wanted to train them the W3 way, and because we were trying a new approach, and it actually really worked. It is a less tried and true way. It's hard. So I get it if you're frustrated. It is really hard to bring people outside into this industry because we have a different nomenclature. We have these different names. And I mean, there's just lots of nuances. And so we want to help you with that. And also one thing we pride ourselves in is, and my passion is young people, because I love this industry. And I just kind of fell into it, from just being a waitress and then falling in love with the food industry. And I'll tell you my story later, but I kind of fell into it and I feel so blessed. And ever since I've been 22, everyone's like, oh my gosh, like I want a job like you. You love your job. And honestly, I don't think a lot of people know about what we do. I think there's a lot of people in our industry that, kind of stumbled into this, or maybe your family was involved, or maybe you were, in the restaurant industry, but, just how to tap into this new market. And then also how to deal with different, multi-generational, groups, and how to work with them well, how to serve them well and lead them well, and how to work as a team. And then, really anyone in the food industry is welcome to join. We welcome you all. I think whether you're a trainer, whether you're in HR, whether you're in sales, marketing, whether you are just, one of the, people in logistics that watch all the crazy salespeople running around, maybe you'll get a really good insight to what we do. But we just really want this to be a very inclusive platform and podcast. So what are we going to talk about? I mean, that's what you want to know, right? Well, all the things, duh. So you're going to hear from people from inside my company, and people I consider in my company subject matters, and that have, really adopted the W3 way and adopted this new approach and just getting creative beyond the food. But I also want, you to not just hear about the W3 people, but we have lots of great people that and resources to tap into in the industry, whether it be our factories or other salespeople that I have worked with along my 20-year career. So it's going to be people also, and this podcast will also include people outside the industry. I think that's really important to have a different perspective. And that is what I did when I was putting when we were putting W3 together was just talk to a lot of people outside of the food service industry and the food industry, just to figure out like, what are other sales organizations doing? What are other companies doing with, social and all the things? And it's really given us a leg up and just given us lots of different insights. So here's a sneak peek of what we're going to talk about. So I want to give you tips on, if you're interested in starting a business, this is a great place to be, because I didn't go to school to start a business. I wasn't in business school, and I just kind of did this like, hey, I'm a salesperson. I love this industry. I'm going to start this business. So I did it. And so I want to, I want to give you tips on how to start a business and, but not only start it, but, building the infrastructure and also, thriving in that and adapting and adjusting. This all didn't just happen for W3. We had to stumble along the way. So I would rather like give you the Cliff Notes version so you could be a lot more successful. And I'm sure you're a lot smarter than I am. I also want to show you how you can bring new talent in the industry and keep them. I think retention is super important and something we don't, think about. And I think retaining people, it costs money, and I think culture plays a lot into that, and making sure you're being relevant in that. And I think this podcast will help you with that. Also, branding. Okay, so this is a big thing for W3. We are all about our branding, and you will see us splashed all over all the social platforms. We are very proud of our brand, and we wanted to show you what branding looks like at W3, and how you can, take your brand and make it, current, maybe a little bit more relevant, and just kind of give you some marketing tips on how to expand your brand. We're also going to talk about establishing a culture. Culture is probably, it's a big deal. And I don't care what generation you came from. Like, having a good culture to work in is the best. And, I think it's really important because, let's face it, we all spend most of our day like with our coworkers. And if you have to work with people or work for people that are a drag, or just, constantly beating you down, or not spurring you on, I think there's balance in all that, and just establishing the right culture. And we have some really great people like Tracy to talk to about that. And again, talking to other companies outside of W3. I also want to explore really hard and difficult topics. I think this is something that we don't talk about enough in the food industry. I think there are some things that I know when I got into it, and again, this was 20 years ago, but just being a female, I'll be honest, it was really hard. And there were some things I didn't, know were appropriate, or that I had to navigate that, were just really difficult. And I want to hear about like your experiences and help you, navigate these conversations. There's also, a lot of, let's just face it, this is a fun industry, but there's a lot of addiction in our industry because, there's a lot of drinking, entertaining, and, it's a real thing in our industry. And I want to, just talk about that, and just like, whether it, you might be facing it, or, your coworkers are, and just like getting subject matters to come in here and help us, talk about some of these harder topics. Also, I want to talk about the cringy moments. Okay, I'm talking about those cringy moments. You're like, oh my gosh, did that really just happen? So I always tell my team, like, we need to be on reality TV, because you can't make up half the stuff that happens in this company. Like, it's hilarious. And And, no one, I mean, they all make fun of me, but I'm serious. There are so many stories and things that I have done, like stupid, like, oh my gosh, that was so cringe, and then other things where situations, and no names will be mentioned, don't worry. But that have happened, on our day to day that you see. So just some funny things that have happened along the way just to make you laugh. And also, another thing I want to address is things that we struggle with, like in, the sales, and really in any job, it's just time management and, how to get it all done. I think that our culture talks a lot about you can be it all and you can do it all and you can go to the top, just work harder. And you know what? That's a bunch of crap. And coming from me as an insecure overachiever, let me speak to the choir, that is crap. Because it's not possible to be it all and do it all. And I'm talking to all of y'all that whether you are single, you have, you want to have a personal life too, that's okay, and, and also the mom, me, hello, twin boys, pray for me, that have, struggling with that mom work life balance. People that, are having, just in any life stage, whether you have family that, that needs you, and just really helping you like balance the, having healthy work-life balance. I don't think it's ever going to be perfect, to be really honest, but I think that's something we should all work towards. And, also, one thing that I have really learned and that I really want you guys to see throughout this podcast is that, W3 is not Nancy Ridlin. It is a team of people, and it takes, a team of people to make this all happen. And, one thing about W3 that I have learned is, and I'm very competitive and I like, I just want to do things, but the best things that I think I do is by asking people their opinions and getting their feedback and giving them an idea and letting them take their spin on it. And then having another person say, well, did you think about that? And so that is a really big part of our culture is teamwork, and that you are not alone. We are all gifted in different ways. Like I am not super, gifted in organization. Shockingly enough. Okay, guys. But I fake it, right? Don't worry, factories, but that's something I struggle with. And so I have learned from watching, other people on our team. So just talking about like how you don't have to be it all and just to take a little bit of stress off of you. And last of all, and certainly not least of all, this industry is so much fun and we get to meet the coolest people. I mean, y'all, we are in the food service industry. We're in the food industry, eating, drinking. I mean, incredible artists with all the cool chefs that we have out there, all the talented people that we get to run in day out, that put on these huge productions. And then, the sales teams and the factories, everybody, we don't do this because it's the most you can make a ton of money. And hey, high five if you make Oprah money. I don't. I do this because I love this. And I think if I ask anybody that has stayed in the industry a while, it's not because of the money. It's because it's fun. And so this is going to be just talking to people that I think are really fun and are very inspirational, people that have inspired me along the way. inside the industry and also outside the industry. I had a lot of, I mentioned earlier, I didn't have a business degree and I've never started a business. And so I had to rely a lot on my outside network. And so I'm going to bring in some of those people that have really and they're probably going to be like, well, Nancy did this wrong and Nancy did that wrong. And I hope you learn from my mistakes and take the cliff notes from that. And there's just so many other fun people that I want to put in front of you. I've got 50 people on my list. So some of you are probably watching. So wait for it. I will be calling you, and I'm really excited to talk to you. And if you're feeling this really burning desire to, be on my podcast, please, we would love to hear what you want to share. So you can email me in the link below. So how is this going to work? So this podcast is going to happen every other week. And that is the goal, is to have a podcast out every other week. And I will be your primary host. And I'm also, again, like I said earlier, nothing is good just with Nancy. I've got to have my sidekicks. I mean, because that's what makes things a lot more fun. And believe me, you'll probably like them way better than you'll like me. But that's okay, because I love them and you're going to love them too. So if you haven't met them, it's Tracy Hess. She is part of my leadership team. She is VP of brand and a national account sales manager, and she's a freaking rock star. I also have joining me Kevin Porter. He's our VP of sales. He is one of the most incredible coaches you will ever meet, and he's hilarious. And I mean, who doesn't like a guy that has a karaoke machine and loves to karaoke? And I always say, if you don't like Kevin, it's not a him problem, it's a you problem. So, and just you'll see what I'm talking about. So again, I've talked a long time and I got to cut this short. I promise I'll try to do my best on timing. If any of you have been on a Zoom, I love to talk. So, but I'm going to have a time limit on this and keep it to 20 to 30 minutes. But I'm really excited about what's to come. Again, I'm just exploding with excitement, and I'm really excited about exploring ways to inspire you and to help people grow their business, grow their career and their personal development, and just give back to the industry. So if you want more information, please feel free to email me. My email is just nancy@w3salesonline.com. We will have that information below, and I'd love to hear from you, and I'd love to hear any comments you have about this. And I'm excited about what's to come. Thanks for joining in, guys. Welcome to our first edition of Confessions in the Food Industry. I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Gonna let it show. Yeah, my husband told me not to sing because I have a bad voice, but I don't care. So if you're still on, you're welcome. See you guys later. For more inspiration, follow our social media at W3Sales. Please like, comment, and subscribe. All the things. We would love to connect with you.